met raad en saam, met leiding en hoop, verdriet en saam staan jy staan. Jy is altyd daar. Dit wat ons doen, ons liefdes, ons vreugdes, ons plekke, ons thuistes, tot daar waar ons reis, jy is daar. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Al verander straatname, al word helde laat val, ons is steeds deur ons adem, ons kultuur, ons verhaal, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Ons is daarmee gebore, die taal waarvoor ons staan, dit vloei deur ons are, ons kinders praat het saam, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, en Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir my mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Herzlich willkommen zu unserem Programm. Unsere Sendung kommt heute aus Pennsylvania. Ich bin der Oberst Wyatt und es freut mich, dass alle dabei sind heute mit uns. Ja. Servus. Ja, bienvenue tous. Je suis très heureux que vous êtes là avec nous aujourd'hui pour notre transmission qui vient de Pennsylvanie aux États-Unis. Je suis très heureux que vous êtes là avec nous. Hello, folks. Welcome back. Hochrandet South Africa, Otsihiliang, Botswana. How's it going, folks, around the world? Salve to Italia. Welcome to everybody watching the program. Viewers all over, it's a pleasure to have you back once again. And for those who missed it, we just had a Leka conversation with a young gentleman named Matthew Orlowitz, who is a conservationist, works with BirdLife South Africa. You can find the link to that site in the video on my channel. We just had a lovely conversation, and I discovered something as we were exiting the broadcast. Matthew was talking to me, and he mentioned to his mom that he was coming on my show, and she was very excited. Apparently, she knows what my program is. She knows who I am, so that was pretty cool. That was nice to hear. It's nice to be recognized. So, anyway, but thanks to everybody who may have become a subscriber during that stream and discovered the channel. So, yeah. Erica loves when I speak French, reminds her of her parents and the early days back in Katanga, no doubt, Erica. How's it going, Erica? All right, let me say hello to everybody in the chat. Then we're going to get to the news. And I'll apologize. I don't have a lot of news stacked up. I do have some. So maybe we'll have more of a chat today in addition to the news. We got some big news. I made a video about Trump and Greenland last night. And it's funny how some people just, whenever you do something, if they don't agree with it, they take it personally. And they want to attack you. I don't know what it's all about. If you disagree with me, disagree with me. If you disagree with the point that I'm making, make the point. By the way, I'm in a Twitter conversation right now with Mighty Jamie. I never expected that. He responded to my comment on one of his Twitter posts in which I criticized him. And he wasn't rude, but there was a little bit of cheekiness in there. And I responded back and I said, well, you know, and he responded back and showed me a video that I hadn't seen about John Steenhuisen climbing into the back of a Toyota. And so I responded back to him. So we're having a back and forth right now. It's very civil. I've never met Mighty Jamie. I don't know a lot about him other than the ambush interview he tried to do of Ronaldo. And I did subscribe to his Twitter account just to see what he's doing. He's got a large following. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes, the conversation with Mighty Jamie. I know a lot of people don't like him. Some people do. Mary Jo Title's here. Ans's back. Hey, I was just wondering how long is the funeral of Jimmy Carter going to take? It's been days now. No, it's the funeral's right now. The eulogies are going on at this minute. It's live right now. If you want to watch it, go watch it. I'm not going to show it. If it was Reagan, I'd do it. But no, I'm not going to show it. So it goes on for usually about a week. It's like an African funeral. It goes on for a week. The person lies in state in the rotunda, that circular part of the Capitol building, and the members of Congress pay their respects. Then the public can come for a couple days and pay their respects, and then they have the actual funeral. So that's where we're at now, the actual funeral today. I'm not glad that Jimmy Carter died, but if he was going to die, I'm glad it occurred on Biden's watch, just like the LA fires. I'm glad they occurred on Biden's watch, just like the hurricane occurred on Biden's watch, because they're already going to attack Trump for everything under the sun. So at least let's get that out of the way. They're going to blame Trump for the LA fires, and he had nothing to do with them. They're already doing that. It's comical, to say the least. And my tax software keeps telling me that it's available. I know that. It's time to do taxes. Leave me alone. Anyway, Hendo says that was a Leka Nature Conservation live stream. I thought so, too. And then we've got Chris Sten here, Dylan Combrick, Vilma Rasmus, Tony Nake in from the oil sands. And Pablo Charlie, welcome to you from the Netherlands. Neville Purden, welcome to you, Neville. How's your mom doing today? Garrett Gillage in from Somerset West, and he's still here, he says. Robert Franklin Moore from PE. Chris Sten says, I think we should send Matthew to go and sort out Parliament. You get my meaning? Yeah, no doubt about it. Seems level-headed, doesn't he? And Meerkat says, hi there, Colonel Edwin. Another $50 million to Zelensky. No, it was $500 million, not $50 million, $500 million. Yep. And Chris's clock is losing time again. No, Robert, I had an interview. Oh, just now saved the file. Okay. I had an interview, and then I had a few questions for Matthew, and we had to chat real quick. So I tried to wrap it up earlier, but there was an interesting aspect to the conversation, so I didn't want to end it prematurely. We kept going. So it was no courtesy break. I didn't change tops. Good guess, though, Meerkat, and I didn't take a break. I'm out of refreshments. I have nothing to drink here at the moment. I have one on the edge, but it's out of reach. I have to get up to get it. But anyway, so just ran from one thing to another. And Meerkat says, my Greenland story was very interesting. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes, it was insightful. No, look, I've been following Greenland and Iceland and Svalbard, the Orkneys and Shetland since I was a little kid. I found it fascinating. In the 1980s, when I was in college, Jane Smiley's, my second trip to college, Jane Smiley's book, The Greenlanders, came out, which is historical fiction. That's what I love. I love historical fiction. And some noise out here. Picking up the trash outside, I think it is. Anyway, so sorry, I had a distraction. I thought we had a home invasion going on here. Jimmy Carter eulogy was upsetting my stomach, came here for relief. Well, Tom, I wouldn't watch that because it's just going to be like when Paul, what's his name, the guy from Minnesota, the senator that died, they had this ridiculous eulogy when Bush was president to go on and on about what a great American the guy was. He was not a great American. It was just sickening what they came up with. But that's the political left. They make fantasies about people. Jimmy Carter was a good human being. He had a good heart. He was a devout Christian. He was a successful politician, a farmer, governor of Georgia, senator, and many, many other things. But the reality is that Jimmy Carter was an epic failure as a president of the United States. He had successes, the biggest success being the Camp David Peace Accords, which Egypt and Israel are still at peace 50 years later. Incredible. Really, almost 50 years later. So incredible stuff there. But his failures were just across the board. Hyperinflation, unemployment, the erosion of America's standing in the world, the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, the boycott of the Olympics, the American hostages in Tehran. So many things. Let me see. Hang on. I got to get this drink. Let me reach over here. Oh, I got it. Just out of reach. Got it. Sorry, folks. I had put an emergency one there, so I just had to get it because I'm kind of thirsty here. Anyway, so there you go. So got another one. It's a little bit warmer than it should be, but it's okay. Anyway, so Jimmy Carter was an absolute abject failure as a president of the United States. Everyone has successes, everyone has failures, but when your failures far outweigh your successes, never mind the fact that he gave away the Panama Canal. Ridiculous. Anyway, Richard Kuhn is here. There's Erica, Vilma Rasmus. Garrett Gillich, I already mentioned. Alan Kotza, who else we got here? Usual suspects here in the chat. That's cool. Charles Van Alt's on the Voice of Reasons with us. Haven't seen Paulie for a few days. Anne-Marie, if it's slow news day, then you can point out the fraud of Emmanuel Holston. He's a doctor. I'm not sure who that is. Okay. Always good to just speak to people. Everyone can have different views. It does not mean that you have to hate someone. People talking to each other helps. Yeah, exactly. Well, I agree, PK, but read some of the comments on some of my videos. You know, the ones that are funny are like the ones like, well, you know, and the guy attacking my video about the ArcelorMittal layoffs, and in which I said nothing about ethnicity or skin color or faith or religion or ethnic origin, none of that stuff. I didn't mention that at all. And the guy attacked me and basically, and we're black parties and we'll rule into perpetuity, and we only think of the DA and the Freedom for Plus as oppression from 1652 to 1994. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? That's got nothing to do with the story. You want to talk about that? Go comment on one of my other videos. Anyway, so Anne-Marie says, I did not want to mention he is a husband of one of the few View hosts. Okay. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, you spelled it wrong. Her name is, is her name spelled with an H-U-S? Maybe it's H-O-S. Sonny Houston, a rabid, race, hustling, slimy piece of human sludge on The View. Yeah, I don't watch that show. She's just annoying. Enjoyed the videos of Don Jr. posting on Facebook. Yeah, no, he's been pretty entertaining. I don't go to Facebook, though. What's up, says Richard. Okay, and Hendo's here. Jimmy Carter's best success was making Ronald Reagan look so good. Yeah, probably true. Charles says he's a great guy, but a crap president. Yep. He's also an interloper. When Clinton was president, he kept interfering in the Haiti situation and exacerbating a crisis by acting like he was a diplomat. I'll go down there, and he was sticking his nose in the business, interfering in U.S. foreign policy. The Democrats never called that out. They had no problem with Jimmy Carter interfering with Bill Clinton's foreign policy. That was inappropriate. It's like when the Reverend Jesse Jackson went to Syria to get American pilots released, interfering in foreign policy. Stupid. We can hang in there if you want to take a bathroom break. No, I'm good. I don't need one. Was listening to 5 p.m. on the Bird, but had to break away and contact a local fire department for a vegetation fire. Wow. There was a fire 150 meters from the fire station. They were unaware. What, were they sleeping, Robert? Were they sleeping? I've seen a fire station in PE, but that's in town. My goodness. Okay. Sedgefield's back. Good to see you there again. Yep, sometimes people go overboard because they live in anger about what has happened. I feel like a lot of people live in the past. 100%. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if I lived in the past and if I lived with the anger and the things that happened in my childhood, I'd have a very unhappy life. And quite frankly, I've been done wrong repeatedly. In the Army, I was done wrong. Denied or delayed a promotion once through nothing to do with me, just because of some idiot in the Clinton White House, and I'm not bitter about it. I haven't forgotten. I'm like an elephant. I don't forget, but doesn't affect my life. I've moved on with my life. And then later on, some other things where I was unfairly treated because of people's DEI nonsense. But you know what? I persevered, and I reached the highest level I possibly could. I went from private to colonel, and there was no general officer position for me. So I have no regrets, and I don't live in the bitter pills. You know, you got to get rid of that stuff. You can move on. Doesn't mean you have to forget. You can move on, but anyway, you have to live your life and not live a life of misery because you're angry at people. Send your husband to jail. Oh, Tony. Okay, so Sonny Houston's going to get her husband sent to jail because she disclosed some criminal activity on his part. Awesome. Yes, do everything incorrectly. Yep, a lot of bad things happen to me. I just try to concentrate today so I can change tomorrow. Exactly, PK. Put a pin in it. Double standards. I'm sure it's going to grow into a big story, star, or write it down somewhere. Okay. Yeah, Sonny Houston is someone I rarely mention, but let me take a look at that. 64 people currently here, just 29 likes. That That's just me, man. Hit the like button. Hey.
That was easy.
Look, I'm particularly happy with the shape of my hair today. I like that little, when it comes across like that. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I'm very happy with that. Just thought I'd share that with you because I know you're dying to know that. Not. Oh, what's these messages coming in? All right, so it's 11:22 here on the East Coast of the United States, and that's actually the time. That darn clock is correct for once. Anyway, 20 degrees Celsius here inside my house, but it is not that nice outside where it's just 25 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below zero. Although, when I go walking later on, I'll be in shorts. Learn from the past, don't live in it. Yep, that's exactly right. Let's get to some of the news here, folks, that I've dug up. Okay, so big news of the day, and I've done a video. I have no idea if that video is getting any traction, if anybody's even watched it, because I haven't even had a second look at it. Let me go take a look, because I'm curious now if I've got any views on that. Well, it doesn't look like a whole lot. That's a shame. 673 views on Pelosi leaving the EFF. That sucks. I would have thought I had a few thousand by now. Meanwhile, the Trump video I didn't expect to do very well on this channel has got 3,400 views, which is better than I expected. On my other channel, which is censored heavily, it has more subscribers than this channel, but only has 300 views. So that's why I put it on both channels. Yep, that's why I put it on both channels. Anyway, yeah, but that ArcelorMittal video is now over 6,000. The one that's surprising me that's not doing very well is the John Steenhuisen story about the Blue Light Special, about the Action SA attacking him. It only has 2,100 views. I would have thought it did a lot better than that. And to be frank, 500 of those views came in the first 2 hours. So, wow, 1/4 of the views in the first 2 hours. A little disappointing in that, but hey, whatever. You know, you get what you get. But we're creeping up at 21,000, just 23 viewers away from, subscribers away from 21,000. So getting closer to the original channel's total, which is 21,500, because it dropped under 600. And Dylan's viewed them on both channels. Thank you for that. A bit of Africa is rubbed on you, Colonel. Wearing shorts regardless of the weather. Yeah, well, that's always been the case for me. So anyway, all right. Don't think folks care about the DA anymore. You might be right, Hendo. So the media's wasting their time running these stories. Yeah, they're wasting their time. So anyway, yeah, but Boycott Ndlozi has quit Parliament with EFF. That's the big news for today, folks. There you go. Resigns as an EFF MP. He's been with the party since May of 2014. Was the former national spokesman for the EFF. Now, he didn't go to the party's National Congress at Nasrec in Joburg back in December, so that should have been an indicator that something was going to happen here. The economic freedom fighters have received the voluntary resignations of fighter Yazini Tetiana and fighter Dr. Mbosini Ndlozi as representatives of the EFF in the Parliament of South Africa. The voluntary requests to be released from deployment, which were sent to the Secretary General, Marshal Dlamini, consecutively and with days of each other, expressed gratitude to the EFF for the opportunity to serve the organization and the people of South Africa. Like buffoons. Buffoons. That's how they acted. The EFF said it accepted the request to be released from deployment, adding that they had diligently served the organization in their respective deployments since they were put in there. Well, they're gone. There he is. There's a guy. EFF MP Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi has resigned from Parliament. Yep. EFF is losing people left and right. This was a breaking story several hours ago. Meanwhile, Ndaba blames Mandela family feud for his brother's arrest. I told you. They were going to say it wasn't Madiba's grandson that stole the car. He was just an innocent victim. People drove with the stolen vehicle to his property. You watch. I predicted it. The property previously owned by former President Nelson Mandela in Houghton, where his grandson Mbuso was arrested with 4 hijacking suspects on Wednesday, is not rented out. Mbuso's elder brother Ndaba told the Times Live, and we've just got Peter Bice has just subscribed. Thank you, Peter. Bye donkey. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the channel. His elder brother told Times Live the property had been neglected by his younger brother, who had been living there for years. Mbuso is expected to appear in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court tomorrow with 4 other suspects. Preliminary information suggests the female occupant is renting the property and is acquainted with the 4 male suspects. Really? They found a firearm, but it only shoots blanks. How does a firearm only shoot blanks? That seems odd, unless it's a cap gun. Weird. Anyway, so, yeah, there's the legacy of Madiba. Grandsons are involved in carjacking or car theft. Well, Cape Town says that the ANC is full of crap. The Cape Town's mayor, that would be Jordan Hill-Lewis, said the January 8th ANC celebrations, they were too incompetent to book any other venue. Look at that tiny little stadium that they use. That's hardly a stadium. It looks more like a pitch. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis has called out the ANC for lying ahead of its celebrations. The 113th birthday celebrations taking place on Saturday, where President Ramaphosa will be delivering his keynote address. The stadium only hosts 2,000 people. And Jordan Hill-Lewis on Twitter said, for the record, the ANC did not book the Kailicha Stadium out of concern for residents. They're lying. They booked it because they were too incompetent to book any other venue in time. They only tried to book Cape Town Stadium in mid-November. It was already booked for a Stormers game. Then they tried Athlone Stadium. It was also booked for the Klopsa Carnival. Several ANC office bearers called me asking for help in late November and even early December. They said they were trying to sabotage them. We were trying to sabotage them by refusing the stadium in November. The last conversation I had was 5 December, and by then they still hadn't made a booking. So please don't believe their nonsense. 100%. 100%. The ANC is incompetent, incapable of thinking ahead, and this is what happened. They only want to hold it in Cape Town because they have no money to do it elsewhere. Oh, my goodness. The Consumer Commission is targeting FlySafair. This is ridiculous. This is government overreach. This is not the role of government. Government is there to ensure the level playing field. The standard practice in the aviation industry, which I don't agree with, is overbooking of flights. FlySafair committed no offense. They did nothing wrong. What happened was unfortunate, and it's not fair to the passengers that it happened to, but FlySafair can make it correct by offering them free flights or making up for it in some other way. But it is no business of the Consumer Commission to get involved in this. This is nonsense. This is not something they should be doing. Utter nonsense. The National Consumer Commission is investigating domestic budget airline FlySafair for routinely overbooking seats on its flights after a ticket-holding customer got bumped off. Well, here's the problem. Every airline does this. So why are you targeting FlySafair? Because FlySafair is eating SAA's lunch. It is the biggest, most effective, most cost-effective, most reliable air carrier in South Africa, and therefore it must be destroyed. And oh, by the way, there's a couple white people involved in the management, so they must be destroyed. That's why they're going after. This is nonsense. The Competition Commission has no business looking at this. Wow. FlySafair's chief marketing officer, we know who that is. It's Kirby Gordon. All you have to do is fly on one of their flights. Hi, I'm Kirby Gordon. You provide an explanation. I need to interview him someday. Yep, overbooking, essentially selling some seats twice, effectively allows airlines to sell seats at slightly lower prices because they know there will be breakage. Much like a gym will sell more memberships than they have treadmills. Yeah, there you go. That's very true. But to be fair, going to the gym and there's only 6 treadmills and there's 10 people trying to use them means you just have to wait a little while. Going to the airport for a flight you've booked to go to a wedding or to a hospital visit or to a funeral isn't the same. It isn't the same. People have jobs. They can't get away at different times. You book the flight. You expect to be on the flight. You expect to be there. That's the bottom line. And airlines screw you all the time, whether they intend to or not. My last trip to South Africa, I got screwed on the cost of the flight, which was double my last flight. Why? Because, almost double, because I had to book it last minute because my passport didn't come back in time for the renewal. And so there's that. Then I get an announcement 3 hours before my flight that the flight was canceled. And they're booking me for later in the evening, and I wouldn't arrive in Atlanta until after my flight to South Africa had departed. Well, that isn't going to work. So I had to drive like a banshee from here to Allentown to get on a flight up there to fly to Atlanta to make my flight on time. Airlines screwed me all over. Now, in that case, it wasn't their fault. There were high winds in Atlanta, and the planes weren't leaving Atlanta to get here. So anyway, crazy. Anyway, so overbooking. It's the norm, folks, and they have no business. This is government overreach. Love to see a comparison of all the parties and what they have done for South Africa to get a real overview of who to vote for. Well, most have done nothing because the ANC's controlled everything for the longest time. The exception is the DA. No one else controls. Now, the IFP, I should say. The IFP also has controls some municipalities. So, you can be wrong and keep your job if you're a weatherman or the ANC. Or you're in the media. Sedgefield, that's the other one. You got to say that. You get it wrong in the media all the time. ANC donors drying out. Iran, China, yeah. Okay, it's not ANC incompetence. It's more like ANC entitlement. They believe everyone must jump to the lip syncing. Well, yeah, and that's why they're incompetent. They don't plan ahead. If the DA wins the first time they mess up, they're out. FlySafair got me in my wheelchair to Cape Town. There you go. Other parties too small. South African Airways is the dodo bird. Yep. What time is Jimmy Carter's funeral? It's going on right now, Courtney. It's going on right now. Why is Habaroni's airport so small, Pablo? It's not, Pablo Charlie. What are you talking about? Habaroni's airport is not small. The Chinese built a massive terminal there, right after I left Botswana. It's been in operation for, 12, 14 years now. It's a huge terminal. It's not small. Not small at all. You should have been to the terminal before they built this one. That was small. That was a one-story building, and it was a mess. It was a mess. It had been around since the 60s, that airport. I flew into it the first time I went into Botswana in 2000. Yep, that airport was almost 40 years old, that building. It was, but it was very, very mellow, was calm, Going into Habaroni was no big deal. It was just kind of like a little regional town sort of thing. But yeah, the airport is not small, not even by a wide stretch of imagination. Well, Gate McKenzie is interjecting himself, this time into cricket, saying that the Proteas should boycott Afghanistan because of its abuse of women. Wow. Okay, this is one that I can get behind. I'm not a fan of sports boycotts, but this is one I can get behind. No, Pablo, I've never been to Luanda. I've never been to Angola. Sports, Arts, and Culture Minister Gate McKenzie has urged Cricket South Africa to consider boycotting the ICC Champions Trophy match against Afghanistan because of the Taliban stance on women's rights since they came back to power in 2021, courtesy of Joe Biden. He acknowledged that he didn't have the authority to make the final decision, but hoped that Cricket South Africa and the International Cricket Council would consider the message sent by competing against Afghanistan. He believed in solidarity with Afghan women, emphasizing that cricket should promote equality in sport. Well, there's over a month ago before the competition, and I agree. I agree with Gate McKenzie. This is a win-win for McKenzie. He's showing once again that he's got his head screwed on the correct way. So, I totally agree with any sports boycott, says Neville Purdon. Well, I agree with this one. How can you go to a country and play a game with a team comprised of people who treat women so abysmally? Yep. I didn't agree with the Russians or the Soviets boycotting Los Angeles. I didn't agree with the Americans boycotting Moscow. That was stupid. But this one I can get behind. So here's another non-story, and I'm going to tell you about this. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, I'm getting a little tired of these journalists running these stories. This story has no merit whatsoever. All right, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Come on, where's my calculator? There it is. All right, I got two of them up now. Okay, there we go. I want that one. All right, so 10 million. Is that what it is? 10 million. 10 million. That's going to be $500,000, something like that. 10 million divided by 19. That's $526,000. Okay. All right. So July, August, September, October, November, December. 6 months, okay? 6 months. I don't know how many people were in the office, but it's been 6 months. $500,000. Let's just divide that by 6 months. Divided by 6 months means that, well, that isn't right. Shoot. I did that all wrong. Divided by 19 equals, okay. All right, 526,000 divided by 6 equals, okay, that's $87,000, $88,000 per month. So the Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister, of course, that's the IFP, Velenkoni Halabisa, took official trips to Germany, Namibia, China, Ethiopia, Brazil, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe for meetings and other events. That's his ministry, okay? So in 6 months, they've incurred 10 million rand in expenses, all right? 3 million of that was spent on Halabisa, so 1/3 of that. So of the $88,000, about 30,000 was spent on him. So you have a minister traveling around the world to conduct legitimate business, and they've spent $30,000 on his total expenses in the course of 6 months. That's $5,000 per month. My flight to South Africa cost $3,200, and I'm not a government official. That was economy. Government officials fly in business or first class. $30,000 is nothing. This is a joke. This is a non-story. Times Live is trying to run a story to attack and diminish the opposition parties. This is an effort. There is a concerted effort in South African media to break apart the government of national unity. Now, I'm not for or against that. I think it's silly. It's not their role. But the government of national unity is under attack, specifically the minority parties in it, by the media. Initially, they went after Gate McKenzie, but he punched back and he did very well. Then they're going after the DA. They're still doing that. They took a little dig at the Freedom Front Plus with Dr. Chernoval, but they let go very quickly. But they're after the DA, and occasionally they come after the Inkatha Freedom Party with nonsensical non-stories. Let's take the blue light story, which is BS. It's nonsense about John Steenhuisen. Total fabricated story. There's no merit to it whatsoever. Oh, this is what they're trying to imply. Oh, he bought these blue light vehicles. He's riding around all the time. What hypocrites. The DA said they would complain when the ANC did it. Well, he's not riding around in blue light escorts. No one's proven that yet, including Mighty Jamie. You haven't shown me any evidence of him in a vehicle with blue lights on, with any witnesses or video or photographs of that occurring. And no one's they're just taking pictures of him getting different cars and claiming, oh, look, he's a hypocrite. That's the first thing. That's a non-story. And the vehicles, they're 7 years old. The one is 7 years old. It's got 215,000 kilometers on it. He didn't buy that. The ANC bought that. He inherited it. And he's not using the blue lights. Now, this is another story. The cooperative governance minister spent $10 million on travel. That's nothing. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is just total nonsense. It's a non-story. Innocent and kind of Meng, I don't know what your goal is here at the Times Live, because this is not a story. What is your point? Expenses include trips to countries such as Germany, Namibia, China, Ethiopia, Brazil, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe. Are you making the argument that it's illegitimate to make the trips? That's the argument. Action SA. Oh, of course, Action SA. Who else? MP Alan Beasley criticized Albizu for the extravagant spending, emphasizing that ordinary South Africans are struggling to make ends meet. Really? I'm sorry. Mr. Alan Beasley, where was your inquiry of Ronnie Lamole's expenses for travel? Barbara Creasy's expenses for travel? Gwede Mantashe's expenses for travel? Cyril Ramaphosa's expenses for travel? Paul Mashatile? Not a single question from Action SA about the ANC and their travel. This is demonic. Why is Action SA so obsessed with undermining minority parties in the government national unity? Do they think that they'll all go away and people just flock to the Action SA? No, they won't. This is not a winning strategy, Michael Beaumont. This is not a winning strategy, Herman Mashaba. This ridiculous race hustling tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet by Herman Mashaba is irritating people, black, white, and brown. They're leaving Action SA. They've had enough of it. And you're not holding anybody to account. This is the media and Action SA are playing games. So you have to wonder what's going on here. What is this all about? What is driving this? It's not about growth. You're just picking a few people from each side. You're not going to win anything here. It's ridiculous. Well, the Johannesburg court is going to hear that case I talked about for Madiba's grandson. There's the house right there, number 9. The arrest being made. That chubby boy with the handcuffs on. Stolen goods, including an unlicensed firearm that shoots only blanks, as well as a white Toyota Corolla, were recovered with reports suggesting the stolen vehicle was hijacked from an Uber driver in Norwood. Wow. Around midnight, a white Toyota Corolla was reported stolen from an Uber driver in Norwood, prompting action from the authorities. The victim was also taken hostage. Wow, so Madiba's grandson is involved in hostage taking as well? Wow, there's a fine legacy to live to. Well, KwaZulu-Natal storm damage has been pretty significant, folks. 411 million rand and 11 lives lost. Ongoing storms in KZN have caused an estimated 411 million in damage, including the destruction of 370 homes and significant damage to infrastructure. 11 lives have been lost, including a young child struck by lightning and 2 adults who drowned. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs MEC Thulasizwe Buthelezi added the damage was exacerbated by heavy rain that started on Sunday. 370 houses completely destroyed. 933 households have been affected. That's some bad mojo, folks. The weather. Mother Nature is not liking people. Not liking people. Well, let's see what we got over in the chat here. Stupid political games. Look here and not over there. Diversion, exactly. But to what end? I mean, the opposition should be united, not playing these games and carping each other. So in the meantime, we've got the DA undermining the Freedom Front Plus. We've got Action SA undermining and the media undermining the DA. And nobody's talking about the ANC. No one's talking about how much money the ANC is spending in travel. No one's talking about the ANC's Bella bill. No one's talking about national health insurance bill. This is all distractions. While the ANC consolidates power, the media are in their back pockets, either willfully or foolishly and naively. But the bottom line here is that the media are marching to the drumbeat of the African National Congress, ignoring things. Yes, I know I reported on the story of the celebrations, but that's an exception. That's an exception. Herman needs to tone it down. Made his fortune during apartheid. Yep, and he's race hustling. Correct. Oh, boy. When you're hijacking a vehicle, the victim will not know that the gun only shoots blanks. That's true. Thank goodness it only shoots blanks. The United States has declared the mess in Sudan a genocide, and they blame the RSF, which is wholly dishonest. The Biden regime is crooked. They're dishonest. The genocide, if it's occurring in Sudan, is a consequence of government forces and the RSF. The government forces under Burhan are not innocent. They are complicit in the crimes against humanity. So call it like it is, DC, or don't call it at all. Wall Street Journal reports the U.S. declares genocide in Sudan, and critics say Biden acted too late. Tens of thousands of people have already been killed in months of fighting that has led to famine. Well, thank you, critics. Michael Phillips. I know Michael Phillips. I need to write to Michael Phillips. I've been reporting for ages since Sudan imploded, and I've been a critic that they've said and done nothing about Sudan. Neither is South Africa. Michael Phillips, I'm going to have to write to him today. I know Michael Phillips. He interviewed me for Liberia years ago. Oh, my goodness. I've been calling out them for ages for this. Well, Lebanon has chosen a new president after 2 years of gridlock, folks. Wow, that's some big news in the midst of the Israeli attacks. As the country endured economic crisis and devastating war, lawmakers failed 12 times to pick a head of state. They now settled on Joseph Aoun, who is the leader of the military. Well, there you go. Let's bring a general in. By the way, those fatigues are the same ones the U.S. Army wears, the exact same fatigues we wear now. Lebanon's fractured parliament overcame more than 2 years of gridlock to select a new president. Lawmakers elected General Joseph Aoun, commander of the military, by an overwhelming majority in the second round of voting, 99 votes in the 128-seat parliament. After he failed to achieve the necessary tally in the initial round, it was a breakthrough in the effort to form a government after more than 2 years of weak caretaker rule. Wow. The election today, which frequently descended into shouting matches, also reflected shifting power balances in the region and came at an unnerving time for Lebanon. Yep. Since October 2022, when he stepped down as president at the end of, Michael Aoun. Yeah, Michael Aoun, that's the other guy. Well, Michael Aoun stepped down as president at the end of a 6-year term. The parliament has voted for replacement 12 times without success. Well, we'll see what happens with General Aoun in Lebanon. That's an interesting development. China's central bank has intervened as the yuan hits a 16-month low with the collapsing Chinese economy. Beijing plans a record large yuan note sale in Hong Kong as Trump's inauguration approaches. Since the beginning of December, the yuan has fallen 1.3% against the dollar and is nearing a 16-month low. The dollar now buys 7.331. Many economists predict the Chinese currency will end the year at around 7.5, the lowest in nearly 2 decades. Renewed pressure in the run-up to the inauguration of Trump, who has threatened to impose 60% tariffs on Chinese imports. Weakness is driven in part by speculation that China's central bank could allow the yuan to depreciate more sharply against greenback in response to tariffs. Yeah, so that they're not losing money. Justin Trudeau's exit from the scene in Canada fails to boost the Liberals' prospects in the next election. Despite the fact that this scumbag is leaving government, the Liberals are still in trouble. Justin Trudeau's resignation has had minimal impact on Liberal Party's declining electoral prospects, while the Conservatives continue to maintain one of the largest leads the party has ever had, according to new polls. Support for the Liberals has remained flat at 20%, while Conservative support continues to increase, up 1 point since December to 46%. Wow. Conservatives are still on track to win a decisive victory if an election were held tomorrow, leading by 26 points against the Liberals. My goodness. That is insane how big a lead the Conservatives have. But that's just how far Canada has fallen. That is just how much destruction has been wrought on Canadians by this leftist liberal nightmare, woke DEI, mass open border garbage that's undermined the social fabric of Canada and the political fabric of Canada, and the actions of a totalitarian in chief known as Justin Trudeau, who violated the Canadian Charter of Basic Rights and imprisoned people and froze their assets to punish them under the use of terrorism laws meant to stop jihadists from harming Canada. They use it to stop truckers who are essential to Canada's economy. Shame, shame, shame on Justin Trudeau. You will be remembered for the violent, nasty, scumbag, ineffective, useless loser that you were. Yep. A hellscape in all directions. The Los Angeles fires are out of control. Meanwhile, the mayor of Los Angeles was in Ghana for the inauguration of a president. There you go. A hellscape in all directions. Devastating fires that ignited crisis and chaos in Los Angeles. Fires are burning one of the most iconic swaths of America and upending lives and destroying property. Wow. These fires are massive, folks. Absolutely massive. Meanwhile, the mayor's absence is considered a major sign in L.A. underestimating the fire risk. Some residents said Mayor Karen Bass should have canceled her trip to Ghana when weather warnings in Los Angeles grew increasingly dire. When a series of dangerous wind-driven fires broke out Tuesday in Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass was on the other side of the globe, part of a delegation sent by Biden for the inauguration of his new president. Ms. Bass, a former Democratic congresswoman who became mayor in late 2022, did not return to Los Angeles until Wednesday afternoon, by which point more than 1,000 homes had burned and 100,000 people across the region had been forced to flee their homes. Why is Karen Bass in Ghana? Why? Somebody please explain to me why she's in Ghana. She has no business being in Ghana. None. None whatsoever. Why is Karen Bass in Ghana? Let's take a look at population of Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure I know what the figure is. I think it's about a third, 25 third. There we go. Population of Los Angeles by race. All right. Black. Yeah. The black population of Los Angeles, where she's mayor and she's black, ostensibly that's why she went to Ghana. What other reasons she have to go to Ghana? It has no sister city relationship with Los Angeles, does it? The black population of Los Angeles County, which includes the city of Los Angeles, 9%. It's 47% Hispanic, 28% white, 11% Asian, and just 9% black. Yet Karen Bass felt the need to go to Ghana for the inauguration of its president. Why? Why? As Los Angeles burned, she was there. She had nothing to say when reporters asked her about this too. Let me see if I can find that video. I saved that video. Come on, get over here. And let me see if I can find it to play it for you guys. She was unbelievable. Here she is. I got it. Okay, here we go.
Do you owe citizens an apology for...
Here we go. This came from Sky News, folks. Wow. This is insane. So let me put that on the screen. There we go. And we're going to zoom it all the way up. There we go. And I'm going to jump on there so I don't get a copyright claim. So she's returned from Ghana, and this is her at the airport being questioned by Sky News.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor?
Nothing to say. Look at her, just ignoring the journalists.
Nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Elon Musk.
Madam
Look at
Mayor,
this.
have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
Folks, I'm not in a loop. This is not him repeating the question, and it's like a Twitter feed where you just go over the video. This is the whole time. This goes on for 2 minutes and 10 seconds, or 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing, but she's in Ghana. Why is she in Ghana? She was warned about these fires before she left. Why did Gavin Newsom destroy the dams and have the catchment areas, the water that can be used by planes to get water and dump it on the fire? Now there's no water. Why did that happen? Yeah, but he blames Trump for it.
No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
I love it. I love it. Look, I don't like confrontational journalism where you stick someone, but this is deserved. This is deserved. This woman deserves all the scorn that she's going to get. People's homes are destroyed. I don't know if any fatalities have been reported yet, but lives are destroyed. And all of this is a consequence of the feckless policies of this mayor, of the governor of California, of the legislature of California, and the hubris of human beings building their homes in a dry, dangerous area subject to wildfires. They're all responsible. The homeowners, this moron of a mayor, Governor Newsom, and these idiots in the California legislature are all responsible. They're the ones who destroyed the dams. They're the ones who neglected this area. Who moves into this area without putting fire measures in place? By the way, I got to give Mighty Jamie, a little bit of credit here. He did have a video of someone in a home, a luxury home in California, putting a hose in his pool and using his pool as a fire pole. The obvious joke there being about Nicklin. He said, see, fire poles. Jay-Z was ahead of his time. Okay, Mighty Jamie, you get credit for that one. That was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, she left her tongue in Ghana. Wow. Nothing to say. That was a journalist who was on the flight with her, apparently, from Sky News. I love it. I love it. Yeah, they live in an alternate world, and they've destroyed people's lives. Their lives, those homes can't be recovered. Their photographs, their high school memories, their trophies, their locks of hair from their children, their entire lives destroyed because of the hubris of human beings and the feckless governance of Democrats. Look at this. This is... Oh, she's running her mouth. She did say something. They act like
Madam
something.
Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
He can't go out there. She can't go out there either. What is she doing?
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Can you take this down?
Look at that. Special treatment for jerk-offs.
David, as you say, she wasn't very keen.
Wasn't very keen. That's an understatement. Special treatment for special privileged Democrat elites. She gets to go out that door instead of walking down the main gangway like the rest of us useless folks. Yep. Anyway. Yeah, no, this is what goes on. This is what leftists do. So let's see what Sky News had to say about this. This guy was at the airport and caught her.
To answer any of your questions there. And fire chiefs are also admitting that they just don't have enough personnel to take out.
Yes, because she cut their budget by $17 million. You don't cut the police, you don't cut the fire, you don't cut emergency services. You cut welfare. You cut parks. You cut things like that. You don't cut essential services. This is what you get. This is what you get.
The fires.
Yeah, they're fighting all sorts of challenges. They're talking about a water shortage. There are reports of fire hydrant failures. They've been unable to use...
And why is that? Instead of telling the truth about destroying the dams in California and losing all the water in the catchment areas that could have been used to fight these fires, they're blaming climate change. Bernie Sanders, this is an example of climate change. No, it's an example of human beings building houses in a tinderbox and then officials not doing proper forestry management and removing brush, and of officials destroying water catchment areas that could have provided sufficient water to protect these areas. This is the problem. The high winds, that's not climate change. That stuff happens all the time. Yep. Unbelievable.
Firefighting aircraft for much of the day due to the smoke that is billowing ominously from the hills where the wildfires are raging. And I suppose despite that political storm, this is, of course, at its heart, a human story.
Yeah, it is a human story. But the problem with the aircraft is with no visibility, you can't fly. If you're flying with instruments, yeah, that's one thing. But you can't fly instruments in this. I mean, there are embers and things coming up from the fires. It's incredibly dangerous. Look, where is Paulie at when we need him? We need Paulie in here right now to talk about the hazards of firefighting. Firefighting is incredibly dangerous. And these people who have cut the budget in California, who have caused this problem, are idiots.
Because we've now 80,000 people evacuated. Tens of thousands of others are on standby to be evacuated.
Now the figure is over 100,000 people have been evacuated since he first said this.
2 lives have been lost in the Eaton fire, which is what's causing the consequence behind us. The city's iconic landscape almost shrouded completely by...
Yeah, the city's completely shrouded in the smoke. It's horrible. Thousands of people have lost everything because of her ineptness. Yet Biden committed another $500 million to Ukraine today. Correct, Chris? I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. Fire departments usually go and check fire hydrants working before fires. Exactly. So it's funny you should mention that because I live in a residential area, which is, it has a home association, so I have to pay an annual fee to be part of that. I haven't seen my bill yet this year. And it goes into a fund. But the local jurisdiction, the township, has come through and inspected the fire hydrants on my street periodically since I've lived here. Spotted them outside doing that several times. They open them up to make sure that the water's flowing, and they pump water out of them, and then they close them back up. But apparently, that isn't happening in Los Angeles. It isn't happening in Los Angeles. Wow. If you can't do the job, don't do it. Yep. So there are many regular people working in these areas, not all celebrities. Older people who bought houses when it was inexpensive will never be able to buy it back. Yeah, Light Rain, but I'm not sure making a point about celebrities. I don't recall making any point about celebrities. My point here is about hubris, building houses in places where you shouldn't have a house.
the smoke, and they're really just taking it one step at a time, hoping at some stage the wind's going to change direction or to...
Well, you know, hope is not a planning factor, and it's a disaster, folks. Hope is not a planning factor. That's the bottom line here. So that's the video footage. It came from Sky News. It's pretty crazy what's going on there. This mayor is absolutely ridiculous. This is what happens when you pick DEI hires for political positions. They're incompetent, they're fools, and they suckle on the teat, and they think they're special, and they love the perks and privileges of the offices, yet they fail to do the job. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Looks like these U.S. mayors came to South Africa to get trained. Exactly. Yeah, I heard James Woods did lose his house. It is sad. And the leftists are loving it. They're like, oh, James Woods is crying about losing his house. You'd be crying if you lost your house too, smartass. Yep. Well, that's what Californians get. They pick this. They got to live with it. State funeral for former President James Earl Carter Jr. is underway in the nation's capital. Joe Biden is giving his eulogy. Good God, that's sad. What a sad, horrific tribute to Carter. He was a terrible president, but he deserves better than Joe Biden giving his eulogy. After lying in state in the U.S. Capitol for 2 days, former President Carter is being honored with an official state funeral at the National Cathedral today. The invite-only service, attended by dignitaries and members of Carter's family, began at 10 a.m. All 5 of the living presidents, including former President Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and President-elect Donald Trump, are attending. Carter died on December 29th at the age of 100, the longest living former president in U.S. history. My grandfather spent the entire time I've known him helping those in need, said Joshua Carter. He built houses for people who needed homes. He eliminated diseases in forgotten places. He waged peace everywhere in the world. Wherever he saw a chance, he loved people. Stephen Ford said his father and Carter spoke before his father died in 2006. And the 2 former presidents agreed to eulogize one another at their respective funerals. Stephen Ford agreed to deliver the eulogy his father wrote for Carter, because Gerald Ford died before Jimmy Carter. So there you go. It's pretty wild that they do that. Nice to follow through on that promise. National Day of Mourning. What exactly does that mean, folks? Although it isn't quite the same as a federal holiday, many government agencies are shut down and some services will be unavailable today as a consequence of the National Day of Mourning. Jimmy Carter, 39th President of the United States, died December 29th. To honor the former Chief Executive, President Biden declared a National Day of Mourning today. Carter's funeral is being held at the Washington National Cathedral in the nation's capital, and Biden delivering the eulogy. A day of mourning is not new. Its observance accompanied by a government shutdown followed the assassination of President Lincoln in June of 1865. The same observance has been held for most presidents who have died after leaving office over the last 75 years. In the wake of Kennedy's assassination, Lyndon Johnson ordered a day of mourning. Most recently, a day of mourning was held in 2018 to mark the death of former President George Herbert Walker Bush. As part of a 30-day tribute to Carter that will begin on his death, flags will fly at half-staff until January 28th. Federal agencies closed include the Library of Congress, federal courts, including the Supreme Court, will take the day off, and the Supreme Court was due to make an announcement tomorrow, so I'm not sure if they'll still do that. Postal Service mail will not run, mostly. National parks will be open, but their administrative offices are closed. Smithsonian will remain open. Banks will remain open, but the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ are shut down today on the National Day of Mourning. We often have people burning fire breaks. I'm surprised that's not a bigger issue in Neighborhoods USA. Hey, Ken, how's it going? My heart goes out to people as I experienced a fire in 2017 in Isla. Yeah, James, I hear that. Santa Ana winds-driven fires in this area have been known for centuries. Spanish missionaries, early settlers all recorded massive fires. We didn't do the maintenance to prevent it. Also, the Spanish missionaries built homes out of adobe, which doesn't burn very well, instead of wood and plastic. I would say be thankful. Sorry, I had a lot of... What's this? Oh, PK. The winds must be very strong if the fires are jumping. Yeah, no, that's the thing. The winds are very strong, and it's on hillsides, and so the fire is jumping from treetop over the fire breaks. Yep. Also, because I'm curious and do not believe the media, so I'm seeing them probably would have been better off not seeing. What is that, PK? Oh, okay. Sorry, you were talking about something I'm not sure. United States efforts to cut emissions stalled in 2024 because of the massive growth in demand for energy. Why? AI, crypto. These things are massive energy pigs, sucking up electricity that is just insane. And that's where it's coming. So all of our efforts to reduce emissions, which have come mostly from modernization, are falling flat. Despite 2 decades of emissions declines in America, we are flat this year. Electricity use is starting to rise again. The boom in wind and solar hasn't kept pace. It's not a boom. America's efforts to cut its climate emissions stalled in 2024, with greenhouse gas emissions dropping just 0.2% compared to the year before. Yep, so we have been dropping, look at that. See, there you go. See, we've been attacked for years by the leftists talking about our emissions. But since 2000, U.S. emissions have declined almost every year on year. There's been two brief periods when it went up, but it is on a downward trend. We have been on a downward trend on emissions, and we get no credit for that. Since 2005, U.S. emissions have fallen roughly 20%. What they don't mention is our population has soared because criminal alien invasion by 20 to 30 million additional people. And despite that, and our economy being $6 trillion larger, actually from 2000, it's actually about $15 trillion larger, being double the size it was 30 years ago, and having 30 million more people, our emissions have declined by 20%. I've been telling you that for years. UBS is close to a large settlement over Credit Suisse tax case. Yep, that's just a huge one. Remember that merger. Credit Suisse pled guilty in 2014 to helping Americans evade tax, but still harbored hidden accounts. UBS bought them to save them as they went under. They're set to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to settle violations by Credit Suisse, which they had nothing to do with. Settlement could come as soon as this week. One of the people involved said prosecutors are weighing how much best to punish Credit Suisse since it came under new ownership and a rescue by UBS in 2023. It could be one of the last big actions for the Justice Department under the departing Biden administration. Credit Suisse pled guilty in 2014 to conspiring to keep thousands of Americans, help them cheat on their taxes. It paid $2.6 billion to U.S. authorities and under a plea agreement requiring it to root out and shut any remaining undeclared American-held accounts. The payout was partly based on a $1.23 billion criminal fine, which was half the maximum indicated by U.S. guidelines. So why are they still paying it? UBS has set aside $4 billion to provision to pay for this penalty. Why are they paying a penalty? It's already been paid, $2.6 billion. This is just a grift, trying to take money from business. UBS is not responsible for Credit Suisse. That company would have gone bankrupt had they not bought it. Trump's inauguration is awash in cash. Money is pouring in as everybody wants to be up to kiss the ring. President-elect has raised more than $170 million. That's actually not true. It's north of $200 million. It's an inauguration record as wealthy Americans flock to curry favor with him and give some money even without the prospect of access to the president. There you go. $170 million, but I've read that it's over $200 million. The IRS has announced a free tax filing service beginning tomorrow. The service is available for taxpayers with an annual adjusted gross income of less than $84,000. Oh, so it's a class war. It'll be available Friday for taxpayers ahead of the official start of the season. It allows taxpayers to prepare and file their federal income tax returns online for free. The IRS calls the service a safe, easy way to file returns. It's a public-private partnership between the tax agency and the Free File Incorporated, a nonprofit coalition of tax software companies. Every partner taking part in the Free File program guarantees the accuracy of the tax return calculation. The IRS says it does not endorse any of the providers. Free File is distinct from the agency's other service, Direct File, while the former is a partnership initiative between the IRS and tax service providers. Even though Free File allows taxpayers to prepare their returns from January 10th, the documents can only be submitted when the filing date officially begins. Wow. Okay. The service available for taxpayers with adjusted gross income $84,000 or less, and in the total income minus certain deductions, such as student loan interest and certain IRA contributions. Yeah, so Free File versus Direct File, that's two different programs. So why is it class-based? Why isn't it available to everybody? Why don't we all get it for free? We're all paying taxes to run the IRS. Why don't we all get free tax filing? Why do we have to pay to file our taxes online? This is a scam. I have to pay every year. Last year it cost me $130 to file my taxes. What a scam. What a scam. All right. So, all right, folks, what's going on over here? You're just chatting away. Erica's being called for supper. Speaking of which, I'm hungry. I've got the Veterans Organization meetings tonight. I got to prep for that. I got a lot of work to do for that. I'm not looking forward to that. Anyway. All right. So, false flag and incident at the inauguration. What you talking about? So let's take a look at those videos. By the way, once again, thanks to Matthew. That was a really fun interview. I enjoyed that. So I want to take a look. Trump acquires Greenland. Where are we at now? Come on, that has to be old. It has to have gone up above that. Yeah, okay, it went up a little bit. All right, so the Trump one's doing better than I thought, but not great. Let me go back to the ArcelorMittal. That one it's leveled off. And the one that's disappointing is the one on John Steenhuisen. I expect it to do a lot better. It's still just a little over 2,000 views. That's disappointing. Disappointing. Anyway. All right, I see it a little bit differently. It gives me an opportunity to help protect my family. And let's see how the Ndlozi video is doing. Ronaldo had 6,000 views on his earlier today. Mine's not even 1,000. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. It's been up since 10 o'clock, so 2 hours. Not even 1,000 views. Oh, well. Such is life. Those who saw it hopefully enjoyed it. I'm sure there will be a deal made. Probably. What are you guys talking about? What deal? What deal? Are you talking about in Greenland? No, I think the Panama Canal is much more likely. Much more likely. So, anyway. I see Arthur Chokes is not here today. He wrote a comment on my video accusing me of spinning things. And I told him, I said, if you don't like the content, if it bothers you so much, then don't watch. I don't see him here chatting today. Maybe he's left. Anyway, he's welcome to his opinion, but so am I. What's this? Low humidity, below 20%, high winds. Those who took their own initiative to pump water to put out there and succeeded. Yep. That's probably what happened. So that fire is just insane. Let's see if we can't get some footage of the fire. Okay, let me see what's going on here. We'll go to X. LA fires. LA fires. There we go. Let's see what comes up. We'll go with the latest. Now let me go with the top. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass should resign now. Agreed. It's crazy. That's from the Gay Republican. It blows my mind that LA is literally being enveloped by fire and Californians still won't acknowledge the Democrats have failed at leading their state. That's good. On the left is the LA fire chief allowing her city to be burned down with no water and fire hydrants. On the right is New Orleans police chief who allowed a terrorist attack on Bourbon Street without street barriers. DEI is quite literally getting people killed. Bring back Merritt. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, let's see if I'm going to put up this Twitter feed over here. That's not it. I don't want that. What I want is this. There we go. So, as much as they need foreign aid, endless funding for DEI, no water for firefighters. That's brilliant. That cartoon. Liberal celebrity turns on dams as emission before deadly wildfire emerges. More details on Sarah Foster's scathing takedown of California Governor Gavin Newsom. Sarah Foster says, we pay the highest tax in California. Our fire hydrants were empty. Our vegetation was overgrown, brush not cleared. Our reservoirs were emptied by our governor because tribal leaders wanted to save fish. Our fire department budget was cut by our mayor. But thank God drug addicts are getting their drug kits. Oh, that is a takedown of epic proportion. I've got to save that image. Wow, that's great. That is a brilliant image. That is fantastic. Yep, I have to share that one. LA County Fire Department donating surplus supplies to Ukraine's first responders from 2022. Wow. That's interesting. Where's this? What paper is this in? Is this the LA Times? Travis Schlepp. Let me look that one up. Travis Schlepp. Let me see. He's a journalist apparently. TravissChlepp. Travis Schlepp, journalist. There he is. Who does he write for? KTLA. LA County Department. Let's see if I can find that. LA County. This is interesting. Department donating surplus supplies. There it is, 18 March 2022. Yep, there you go, folks. Wow, the incompetence. And this is what people in California get. They just ignore this. They let it just happen all around them. So let me read this story. I'll show it to you very quickly, and then I'll read it and see what it says if it's actually about fire stuff. LA County Fire Department donating surplus supplies to Ukraine's first responders. March of 2022. Ukrainian first responders will be receiving some much-needed equipment all the way from Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County Fire Department announced this week it would be sending surplus equipment to Ukraine. Boots, hoses, nozzles, body armor, and medication were among the items packed and shipped out during the event earlier this week. The care package was loaded in an LA County fire station in Inglewood on Thursday. Fire Chief Daryl Osby and County Supervisor Janice Hahn were in attendance and helped pack out. As Ukrainian firefighters continue the work under extreme peril to remove victims with limited resources, we need to help them step up and help in some way. Wow. There you go. So LA firefighters gave away their surplus equipment to Ukraine and people's homes burned. Wow. Wow. Just 2 years later, people's homes burned. That's insane. That's insane. Yep. Wow. So Blue Sky Libs go from celebrating the destruction of the home of James Woods to crying over reasonable analysis of the roots of the cause of LA fires. So Libs of TikTok and Elon Musk responded to the fires, and then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it's Alejandro Carabello said, people are dying and losing their homes while these dipshits blame women and people of colors for it. Nothing but contempt for these despicable opportunists. You blame white people for it. You blame white males. So what's the difference? There aren't enough firemen because Democrats fired 100 for not taking the COVID vax. 1,000 homes have been burned. Entire neighborhoods wiped out. LA media. LGBT fire chief is proving lesbians get it done. Oh my goodness. There you go. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Lesbians get it done. Well, apparently they don't. Wow. Firefighters are currently trying to stop a Pacific Palisades fire led by lesbian fire chief Kristen Crowley. She kind of looks like a dude. Anyway. Don't worry, Los Angeles. This is from Viva Fry. Your first LGBTQ plus fire chief is proving lesbians get it done. No, this is not a parody. Yep. Yep. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is so sad, but it's not funny. It's really insane. Yep. Wow. Wow. Then for good measure, the mayor cut funding the fire department for $17.6 million. Wow. There you go. Man, this is... So LA Mayor Karen Bass cut fire department funding by $17.6 million, focused on homeless spending months before wildfires turned the city into a hellscape. The cut was the second largest in her 2024 fiscal budget, city figures show, and it wasn't even the gutting that she wanted. If she had her way, the LA Fire Department budget would have been slashed by $23 million. LA budgeted $837 million for the bravest in fiscal 23-24, which is shockingly 65% of the $1.3 billion slated for the homeless. The city comptroller study found that nearly half of that funding went unused. Wow. So they gave $1.3 billion to fund the homeless, a problem they created, but only $800 million to fight fires. And they didn't spend half the money on the homeless. They just didn't fund the fire department. Wow. That is insane. Her budget cuts resurfaced as the LA Fire Department issued a rare plea asking off-duty firefighters to join the battle against 3 massive wildfires, which were kicked up Tuesday by 100-mile-an-hour Santa Ana winds and have proceeded to grow by the hour. At least 70,000 people were reported to evacuate. Now it's 100,000. The fact that Bass was in Ghana when the flames broke out added further fuel to the backlash. Mid reports LA fire hydrants have run dry as firefighters battle the flames. Caruso said Bass was directly blamed and called her out for being literally absent as the city burned. I think you should start asking, why don't you call the mayor who is out of the country and ask her? Get the answer from her, he told Fox LA. As the flames kicked up Tuesday and exploded overnight on Wednesday, Bass was 7,400 miles away in Ghana, where she's celebrating the inauguration of President John Mahama. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is on taxpayer-funded trip to Africa as part of a Biden administration presidential delegation while her city is burning to the ground. Wow. Yep, here's a good image of it here. Now, I don't know if these actors lost their homes, but it points out where they live. So Eugene Levy and Mark Hamill's homes. The Palisades fire, 17,234 acres, had burned as of the time of this story was published. Sunset Fire, 42 acres. The Hearst Fire, 855 acres. The Eaton Fire, 10,600 acres. Wow. Unbelievable. The Santa Monica Pier is within range of the evacuation. 30,000 acres burned, 2,000 structures destroyed, at least 100,000 people evacuated. This story was published, what time was this published? At 9:54 last night. So it's already 12 hours old, and it's just gotten worse since then. Wow. Unbelievable, folks. Elon Musk, who's been serving as advisor for President Trump, called Bass utterly incompetent. She finally returned yesterday to L.A., where she met with Governor Gavin Newsom amid the torched rubble as flames still burned uncontained across the city. Look at these firefighters courageously battling this stuff, folks. As her plane touched down, Bass refused to respond to Sky News reporter asked if she regretted gutting the fire department budget. Angelinos are waiting for answers. We have questions. I know where I am, but I don't know where my mayor is when this is happening. One furious resident was forced to evacuate. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. Spent my entire life worrying about when earthquakes come, when the Santa Anita winds come. I plan my trips around this. For someone to be in charge of my town, where were you? Now at least 5 people have been killed. My goodness. Gee, many crickets. This is insane. 782 comments on this. And this person says, unfortunately, people who memorize lines for a living and are attractive, who are worth staggering amounts of money, will not see these fires as a result of cuts to the budget of the fire department. They will repeat the canard of climate change. Exactly. It's not climate change. This is human-caused misery. Fires out of control, winds continuing into today. Yeah, this is caused by humans. The Santa Anita winds are not the problem. The Santa Anita winds have been there for thousands of years, and they come consistently, regularly, annually. This is not a consequence of the Santa Anita winds. This is a consequence of negligence, hubris, and bigotry and stupidity. Yep. I'm Garrett. Okay. Who do you think would be a good president for South Africa? Velenkini Glabisa from the IFP would be a good choice. Peter Groenewald would also be a good choice. Yeah, she should get roasted like a turkey. It's not climate change caused the fires. It's the uncontrolled urban development sprawl and the resulting above-ground power lines that are snapped during the high winds that have been part of the area for centuries. They should have been underground power lines. Yep. Same with the mudslides, building hillsides and removing the trees that hold the soil together, but you can't tell the celebs that they want electric cars that will create more power lines, exacerbating the problems. Yep. Of course she did. Did she cut the police budget as well? Oh, but the taxpayers are paying for a trip to Ghana. First-class flights, no doubt. America needs a total overhaul of its political system. Activists and something with agendas are running and ruining our cities. Yep. There you go. That's insane. That's insane, folks. Wow. Oh, boy. Oh, this is a good picture. I like this one. I have to say this one. This is well done. El Comandante, Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass wearing Cuban communist stuff. That's brilliant. I got to save that one. Oh, that one's really good. I'm going to have to save that, make a video for that. Wow. So, there's an air tanker here dropping water. California deemed these too expensive to keep. Money needs to be deferred to attorneys to fight illegal aliens being deported. Yep, that was an air tanker. They got rid of them. And they don't have them anymore. Yep, they got rid of the tankers. So they have to rely on the Canadians coming down to help put the fires out because we don't have the air tankers that we used to have because they said they were too expensive. Wow. Typical leftists, ruining everything. Boy, the wind is really kicking up here. It's not just the Santa Anita winds here in central Pennsylvania. It's quite windy at the moment, folks. Very windy. Wow. Anyway. All right, let me save that. I need to go here, not there. I'm in the wrong folder. Yeah, so looking at the smoke and ash pollution, no power. Some people are being told to shelter in place. I would get the hell out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, it depends. You got to know what's going on around you. You might walk right into a trap. It's been the plan all along. Do no mitigation so you can get federal money for the victims. Yeah, that might be the case. This is crazy, folks. This is crazy. Newsom is a rat. Yeah, I agree with that. What to know about the LA fire hydrants that ran dry when they were most needed. The water system used to fight the Palisades fire in Los Angeles buckled under the demands of what turned out to be the most destructive fire in city history, with some hydrants running dry as they were overstressed without assistance from firefighting aircraft for hours early Wednesday. Los Angeles Department of Water and Power was pumping from aqueducts and groundwater into the system, but demand was so high that it wasn't enough to refill 3 1-million-gallon tanks in the hilly Pacific Palisades that helped pressurize hydrants for the neighborhood. They went dry as at least 1,000 buildings were engulfed in flames. The dry hydrants prompted a swirl of criticism of social media, including from President-elect Donald Trump against Mayor Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom. But state and local officials and experts forcefully hit back, saying critics were connecting unrelated issues and spreading false information during the crisis. State water distribution choices were not behind the hydrant problems, they said, nor was a lack of overall supply in the region. In a post on Truth Social, Trump connected to criticism. Anyway, what's this? Hydrants are designed for fighting firefighters at 1 or 2 houses, not hundreds. And refilling tanks requires asking departments to pause firefighting. Anyway, 40% of Los Angeles water comes from state-controlled projects connected to Northern California, where the Delta smelt live. And the state has limited the water it delivers this year. Yep, they have. They've limited to save a little tiny fish. So people's lives and homes are destroyed to save a little tiny fish. Yep. In 2023, we had the historic fires in Hawaii, which ripped through the Lahaina and killed more than 100 people. And that was, again, during the Biden administration. Unbelievable. It's all about thermodynamics. Do your homework, educate yourself, don't be sheep. Agreed, Tony. Agreed. We have the same issue in Dirt Bin where the temperatures get very hot and electrical substations start to pop, causing their own fires. Yep. Real estate developers will have a field day in California. We'll see. Another South African state. Yeah, California would fit right in as a province of South Africa. You have Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Gauteng, Northwest, KZN, and California. True story there, folks. Snowstorms in the south again. Yes, Shawnee, that's a climate change. It's global warming. It's that global warming. Yep. Blue roof paint sales will skyrocket. Yeah, perhaps. No money from FEMA for Helene victims, but watch Democratic California. Oh, yeah. You're right, Maryland. Oh, you're very prescient. And I was thinking about that, and I'm glad you brought it out. There was no money for Hurricane Helene victims in North Carolina. It took weeks to get them any assistance. But watch. There'll be money for California. Yep. Global cooling. Oh, Majorca has some pretty bad fires, too. Yeah, Greece as well. These are very dry places, and the brush is a tinderbox. Yes, they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Rockscale says, I'm way too late for a live stream. No, you're not too late. We started a little bit late because the previous session I did an interview, and so we just got around to a little bit later. So you're not too late. Let me check on something on my phone here very quickly, folks. Okay, I got to take care of something here. All right, so yeah. All right. Free California. Yeah, I don't think we should free California. But Californians have brought on themselves. They are the architects of their own demise, like Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt did not have to enter that building. She had no business in that building. She had no authorized access to that building. I'm not blaming her for her death. I'm just saying she's the architect of her own death. She shouldn't have been doing that. Shouldn't have been in the building. At the same time, the gentleman who murdered her should have been charged with murder instead of being protected by the Biden regime. And perhaps in the next administration, we'll do something. Statute of limitations for manslaughter and homicide is not 3 years. Trust me. There's not some very valuable minerals in California, maybe like Hawaii. No. Hawaii is just a bunch of volcanic crap. I can't imagine there's anything valuable in Hawaii except tourist beaches. Never been to Hawaii. I was offered a chance to be stationed there. They wanted me to go to Field Station Kinea back in 1997, and I turned it down. They also offered me Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, and I turned it down to take Italy. I went to Italy instead. No regrets. I enjoyed my time in Italy, even though I didn't spend a lot of time actually in Italy. I did some pretty cool stuff, did some cool counterintelligence work, deployed to Bosnia, did some stuff. Gold and silver in California. Absolutely, Charles. Gold, silver, natural gas, oil, all in California. Yep. California's gold rush. That's the 49ers. 1849, the gold rush in San Francisco. The people who got wealthy were the people that sold pots and pans and food and tents and pickaxes and clothing like Levi Strauss. The gold miners didn't get that. And most of them didn't get rich. They mined the gold and then they burned it real quick on whores and alcohol. Yep. They ban you for digging in California. I don't know what they do in California when it comes to gold now. Let me see how California gold production. Let me try that. Gold production, USA gold production by state. Okay. U.S. gold production by state. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got here. What's the produce most gold? Nevada. I know that. That's not what I'm looking for. Here you go. Finally, I got down here by statistic. World Population Review also has it too. That's interesting. So let's see. That doesn't help me. That's gold production in the U.S. I want it by state. Oh, here we go. That's interesting. All right, so gold production by state. This is an interesting chart here. So there's the states, and there's the gold production by state. Interesting. So Alaska, here we go. So Nevada is the largest gold-producing state, followed by California, Colorado, South Dakota, Montana, Arizona, Georgia, Idaho, Utah, and Oregon. What about Alaska? Huh. Well, Pennsylvania is a gold mining state here. I didn't even know we had that much gold. I'm going to start to go out and start panning for gold. Pennsylvania. Huh. This is, oh, here we go. This is what I want. So where's Alaska on this chart? Maryland's the lowest here. Alaska's not even, that can't be right. Alaska has gold. I don't understand that. Let me try to search for Alaska. 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 Search. No results. That doesn't make sense. That can't be right. Alaska has to be a top gold producer. Come on. This doesn't tell me states. Oh, here you go. Alaska. Okay. I found a different one. So Alaska produces about 22,000 troy ounces. Kilograms. This isn't ounces. It's kilograms. 22,000 kilograms. That's a lot. But Nevada, 125,000. So, but that's way down. So both of them are down in gold production. But anyway, that's not a particularly good chart. So I was looking for a better chart for this. Top 5 gold states in the U.S. top 10. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Top 5, ranked 4th in the world behind China, Australia, and Russia in terms of gold mining. U.S. produced 210 metric tons of gold in 2018. But that's down from 2017 where it was 237. 75% of the gold production comes from Nevada. Wow. Nevada, the top gold mining state in the U.S., is home to 3 of the world's top 10 gold mines and 7 of the top 10 in the U.S. Wow. From 1835 to 2017, Nevada recorded 200.35 million troy ounces of gold production, with more than 5.6 million troy ounces produced in 2017 alone. Counts for 71% of the gold produced in the U.S. and 5.6% of the world's gold production that year. Oh, Nevada's big. Alaska. The regions of Juneau, Nome, and Fairbanks represent the majority of Alaska's gold production. From 1880 to 2015, Alaska reportedly produced 46.7 million troy ounces of gold. Wow. The early part of the 21st century saw Alaska generating an estimated 40.3 million troy ounces. Yep. In 2015, Alaska produced 12.7% of all gold mined in the U.S., which amounted to 873,984 troy ounces. Colorado. At the peak of Colorado's gold production, state produced 1.4 million troy ounces in 1900. The last time they crossed the threshold of 1 million ounces was in 1916. Yeah. So California, gold was first discovered along the Colorado River in the Potholes District by Spanish prospectors in 1775. In 1848, James Marshall found gold at Sutter's Mill, which started the California Gold Rush. The exhaustion of placer deposits gave rise to hard rock mining in 1849. 3 years later, hydraulic mining of placer gold started. California gold production peaked in 1852 with 3.9 million troy ounces. Gold production in 2018 was just 140,000 troy ounces, all coming from one mine. Arizona. So, and that's the top miner. This top 5. Let's see, we go to the top 10. Okay. Oh, it doesn't tell me there. Okay. Anyway, there you have it. So that's gold mining in the U.S. 69 people currently here. Good to see you there. Kamala's husband is a shareholder in one of the mines in North Carolina. Didn't know that, Maryland. Okay. 22 tons sounds like a lot. It is a lot, Garrett. Yeah, it is. Canada's big on silver. Well, Nevada is also big on silver. Let's see what top silver producers in the U.S. Top U.S. states for silver production. Nevada is known as a silver state. They should be at the top of that. I'm going to say silver production. It says Alaska's at silver. Well, that's crazy. I didn't know it was Alaska. I would have thought, oh. Production by state. Okay. Leading silver mines. Top 5. Okay. Oh, that's companies. I don't want companies. I want states. I'm not getting the information I'm looking for here. That's kind of annoying. Okay. Let me see if that tells me. Silver. In the United States in 2021, U.S. silver mines produced approximately 1,000 tons of silver with an estimated value of $830 million. Silver is produced at 4 silver mines and as a byproduct or co-product with 33 domestic base and precious metal operators. Alaska continued as the country's leading silver-producing state, followed by Nevada. There were 24 U.S. refiners that reported production of commercial-grade silver and estimated total output of 2,000 tons from domestic and foreign ores and concentrates. So, estimated domestic uses for silver were a physical investment, 26%. So people buying silver coins accounted for 26% of silver consumption. Electrical and electronics, 21. Coins and metals, 11%. Well, I guess that comes under coins and metals. That's 11%. So 37% is for investment, coins and metals and investment. So jewelry and silverware, 4%, and other, 38%. Other applications include antimicrobial bandages, clothing, pharmaceuticals, plastics, batteries, bearings, brazing and soldering, catalytic converters, electroplating, inks, mirrors, photography, photovoltaic, solar cells, water purification, wood treatment, mercury and silver, and main components of dental amalgam are biocides. The use of amalgam inhibits recurrent decay. Wow. Okay. There you have it. So, silver. So, world production of silver. The largest producer of silver in the world in 2021 was Mexico with 5,600, what is this, tons? I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, yeah, they're the largest in the world. And Peru has the largest reserves, largest number of reserves. Australia's second largest reserves. But Australia doesn't produce a lot of gold. Yep. So Mexico's the largest, followed by Peru, or followed by China, then Peru. China's reserves are significant. USA's reserves are okay, not great. All right. North Carolina has a diverse range of minerals, including industrial minerals, gemstones, and precious metals, says PK. Yeah, I've got a few silver coins, not many. Just a few. I've got some German ones. I got this one here that was given to me. Anyway. Yeah, silver is undervalued, but at $30-some an ounce is too much. When it was $4 an ounce, I would have bought tons of it, but not at $30-some. Yep. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. Be sure to hit the like button. Just 65 likes in the stream. What's going on with that? Man, I worked my butt off here. Come on, only 263 people tuned in.
That was easy.
That's a little surprising and underwhelming. All right, Gavin Newsom is a gift that keeps on giving. Yes, if you're a conservative and you want to rag on liberals, he's a gift that keeps on giving. All right, folks, I wish you all well. Tomorrow I'll be back. I'm going to reach out to Byron Shepard and see if he wants to do a live stream tomorrow. Don't know if he's available on a Friday. And then don't forget, Saturday we've got 4 EPCR Champions and Challenge Cup games, and Sunday we have 1, so 5 games this weekend. Mark was arrested at our house with his kids. Turned out wrong guy. Birthday didn't match the other guys. No idea what you're talking about. All right, cool beans. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. Have a good one. Thanks a lot for being here. God bless, and have a lovely evening wherever you find yourself around the world. Cheers.